So this video is for the last sentence in DBG, Book 5, Chapter 47. We had marked up the first little bit here. I think we said that Labienus was the subject. We mentioned that there's a big ablative absolute here. And then we have some kind of cum clause here. We mark the main verb of the clause and the subject and a prep phrase. And now let's continue to mark it. If we're looking at the rest of this sentence, we see that there's some sort of conditional statement here. So we have the C, the if part of it, and then of course the then part would be right here. And we see the word quos, which is going to start some kind of clause, and let's just back it up, use punctuation as our friend to praesertim. And then we see the word quanto, which we know is going to start some kind of clause as well, and will most likely end at the semicolon esset. And going through the rest of the sentence, I don't see any clauses. So what did we not mark? Well, we didn't mark veritus, and that looks to me like it is from the deponent verb verior, meaning to be afraid, and it is actually going all the way up here and modifying labienus. It's a participle. Other words we didn't mark, literas Caesari remittit. Wow, I finally found the first main verb of the entire sentence, remittit. And literas looks to be accusative, direct object. Now after the semicolon, it looks like we have a main verb in perscribit. And then rem gestam looks to me to be a direct object, accusative. I'm supposed to say dio, by the way. Got a prep phrase in burionibus. And then in the last bit here, we have docet is going to be our main verb. And I see an infinitive in concedice. Now, going back to the beginning, let's take a look at some of the clauses. Let's start. We already marked everything with this cum clause that we can. How about the C clause? I see a prep phrase in ex hibernis. Fecicit would be the main verb of the clause. Profectionem looks to me to be accusative. The word similem is describing perfectionem. In the then part of the clause, we have non posset would be the main verb of the clause, really just posset. And then sustenere is an infinitive. Impetum is accusative, direct object. In this clause, we have sciret is our subjunctive main verb of the clause. Efferi is a present passive infinitive. And then recenti is an ablative modifying this ablative noun, victoria. In this clause here, starting with quanto, we have a prep phrase, quanto cum periculo. Ex hibernis is another one. And then educturus esset. Esset would be the main verb of the clause. And then legionem, direct object. In the rest of the sentence, well, we know that docet means, it can mean to teach. It could also mean to show or inform. And since we have an infinitive, I think we can assume that indirect statement is coming. So these accusative words here, omnes through kopias, those are going to be the subject of this infinitive concedice. The only other thing that I think we could mark here would be ab suis castris, prep phrase, and then we see tria millia passuum. We know millia passuum, of course, is an idiom in Latin meaning miles, and tria would be 3. So something is happening 3 miles longe, 3 miles away. So then it just becomes a matter of vocab, and let's go back to the very beginning. So Labienus, with the death of Sabinus and with the slaughter of the cohorts having been discovered, since all of the forces of the Treveri had come to him, having feared that, because remember that in a fear clause, ut and ne, the meanings are reversed, having feared that if he had made a departure out of the winter camp similar to flight, that he would not be able to withstand the attack of the enemies, especially those enemies whom he knew to be elated or lifted up by their recent victory. He sends letters again to Caesar, and then literally with what danger he was about to lead out the legion from the winter camp. So let's stop there. In plain English, what does that mean? Well, Labienus, he knew, of course, about Sabinus's death from the handful of soldiers from Sabinus's camp that escaped to him. And he knew that he was probably going to be in trouble too, because all of the forces of the Treveri had come right outside his military camp. And he was afraid that if he tried to make an escape from the camp, that he wouldn't be able to withstand an attack from the Treveri, especially since he knew that the Treveri were kind of pumped up by the fact that they had defeated Sabinus. So he sends letters to Caesar basically saying all that, and also saying how much danger he would be in if he tried to lead his soldiers out of the camp. All right, so that was the gist. Now we keep going. Per scribet. He writes out, or he reports about literally the thing having been done, meaning like he reports what happened among the Eburiones, meaning, the Eburones. I think there's not supposed to be an I there. Eburonebus, among the Eburones, meaning what happened to Sabinus and Cotta's legion. So finally Caesar knows about that. And then he reports or informs, how about that? He shows or informs that all of the cavalry and all the forces of foot soldiers of the Treveri have taken a position 3 miles away from his camp. All right, that's it. Thank you.